What is going on out there, peeps? Okay, so we'll cover the news. There's not a whole lot going on, but at the end of it, I do want to address these rumors that are floating around regarding the Iraqi dinar. It's been brought up to my attention enough to where now I just cannot continue to respond individually, so I'll have to comment on this video. So real quickly, if it's all right with you, I would appreciate if you hit the thumbs up button now. And if you're not a subscriber, please do so, because when you do, it helps out the channel, and I surely do appreciate it. And if you're thinking about buying the precious metals, right now is the time. We buy on the dip. Right now is the time to buy. In case you're not paying attention to what's going on, the values are dropping right now. This is a good time. I told you to expect these kind of drops before it takes off like a rocket. I told you we're going to have a roller coaster ride between now and the end of the year, and that you should be prepared to take advantage of these situations when they pop up. So right now is a good time. And if you are thinking about buying precious metals, to give our friends over there at Money Metals Exchange a consideration, the link is in the description. If you buy more than $100 worth of precious metals for your first time, use promo code Pimpy, Pimpy, and get a free half ounce of silver. Okay? You guys already know Facebook still got me on lockdown, although today during the hearing, they're claiming that they have not blocked people or that they've unblocked people that were blocked for spreading the Joe Biden story. I've yet to be able to get into my account, so we'll see if this is true, or just as usual, these people from these platforms go up, lie their asses off, and nothing gets accomplished by Congress. Okay? All right, so what's going on over there in Iraq? It's been kind of mellow for the most part. Basically, they're still getting their ducks in a row. They're having trouble getting the money necessary to just pay their employees. That's the state that Iraq is in currently. I told you guys that Bloomberg had put out a report stating that Iraq would be bankrupt by 2021 if things didn't change. I think Iraq, along with these other oil-rich nations, are suffering due to the fact of these long drawn-out quarantine lockdowns that these governments are putting on their people around the world due to the pandemic. Crashing the economies around the world is a planned event, people. All right? We are going to know so much more after this election. I mean, we really will. And we're going to see where people stand real soon here. But anyways, having said that, here's what's going on. After the finance book, Academy spokesman issues an explanation regarding salaries. What's the explanation? I tell them they don't have the money. So, Academy issued an explanation of the statements he made during his weekly conference regarding the borrowing law and securing the salaries of the employees. His spokesperson, Tallah, said on his Twitter account that the decline in state revenues in the past several months is not sufficient to pay its salaries or other urgent obligations. On this basis, the government requested from Parliament additional borrowing authorities to fill the financing gap until the 2021 budget presentation. Now, what you'll find later on is they're asking for something like 41 trillion dinars, or billion dinars, I think it is, billion dinars, and Parliament only wants to give them 9. That's a pretty big, wide gap. So anyways, we know this part. The 2021 budget will be a reform budget par excellence and based on the requirements of the reform papers. And measures will be taken directly aimed at improving the state revenues and controlling the expenditures. Yeah, that's part of the policies that are in there. They need to do something about generating other income other than by oil. And they've already been taking these steps to do so. But right now, what they're trying to do is figure out how to just make it to the other side. And what I mean by that is, on although they've put together great plans and they have their policies ready and their procedures ready to be implemented, that doesn't help them with what's going on right now at the moment. As they continue to arrest the corrupt, remove the corrupt, and replace new systems to detect the corruption, that takes a little bit of time. But is it possible that it's too late for Iraq to rebound? I don't think so. The concern that I have is that Iraq starts getting so desperate that they start wanting to reach out and do external borrowing. I prefer that not happen. We want to avoid them dealing with the IMF and the World Bank as much as possible. All right? So anyways, it's just saying in here they have to figure out what they need to do to get to the next side. They want to continue doing more internal borrowing, and they're asking Parliament for the monies. Cabinet Secretariat clarifies about Thursday's holiday. It's a holiday. The start of the meeting of the Parliamentary Finance Committee and the Ministry of Finance regarding the borrowing law. So the funny thing is, I can't help but just sit back and look at this finance committee and think they remind me of how conservatives used to be here in the United States. They were against big spending. But I kind of look at the predicament that Iraq is in. Given the fact that oil demand is way down, the protests that took place, the disruption in the flow of government, and the Rona out there, you would think that they would make a little bit of an exception and try to make sure that their government does what they need to do to get to this other side smoothly. Anyways, the meeting of the Parliamentary Finance Committee with the advanced staff of the Ministry of Finance started this morning, which was Wednesday, in order to put the final touches on the draft law in financing the fiscal deficit. I told you what the issue was. There's a difference in money they were talking about. Anyways, they're negotiating on both ends about what needs to be done, how the money needs to be spent, where the money is going, and exactly how much of it they're going to need. So let's just keep our fingers crossed that that's going to be taken care of. The Ministry of Peshmerga announces the day of the opening of the Joint Coordination Center with the Iraq Army. Remember, they were going to build some centers all along the borders where the Peshmerga and Iraqi forces would cooperate and work these areas out to patrol for, of course, illegal border crossings, as well as any terrorist activity, things like that. You know what I mean? So this is in here talking about how, again, the Peshmerga and the Iraq forces are, again, the centers are being built. They're talking about these centers where they could check in as they watch these borders. So right now, the two forces are agreeing where the center's getting ready to be built. They've already agreed on the territories, and our United States military is aiding them in this process, and they've been training them for quite some time, but also just providing aid to them, any kind of aid necessary for them to be able to do their job and do it effectively as needed. Okay? The Iraqi parliament completes voting on electoral districts. Now, we know they did this already. There's only one area, or I should say two areas, in Kurdistan that have failed to reach a consensus on division. Again, these are the people that are resisting this. They're afraid that the number of blocks would be reduced. That would be silencing their control and power. To me, I think it's a good idea. There's too many different factions within the parliament, and they all don't get along, and it just really disrupts things from getting accomplished. So they're just putting up a fuss, and right now there's two districts in Kurdistan that have not agreed yet, but the rest of them have all agreed. They've been voted on for getting ready for early elections. We'll see what happens to the other ones. Here we go again over here. This is just a committee talking about the amount of money that's needed and what needs to be done. Right here, they're talking about what hasn't been figured out yet is where the exchange destinations are. And what I mean by exchange, not anything to do with the dang currency. I'm talking about where the exchange from the money being borrowed, where it's going to, and how it's being distributed. That's all this is, okay? The central bank's allowing direct transfer of funds between electronic cards. So this way, if you have multiple cards or you want to transfer from one person's card to another for making payments, it's being taken care of. So here it is, that what I was talking about, parliamentary finance. We will approve 9 trillion dinars to lend to the government. So they want to give 9 trillion, but nah, they need 31 trillion is what it is. So we'll see where that leads us to, okay? Oh, and by the way, they're going to be opening up the square where the protesters have been protesting, and rightfully so. Look, as long as they do it peacefully, it's on an anniversary of when the Iraqi forces under the other administration were unarmed citizens who were shot and murdered. So, and that's being investigated, and I'm sure the people will be brought to justice. Now, let me come back and touch on these rumors going around. We talk about this all the time, right? Look, there's some people out there that have faith in this investment opportunity. There's others out there who don't. All right, you're going to hear, and that's almost with anything that we do. You're going to have some people that think one way and some people who think another. Okay, so just ignore them. So what we have is YouTubers that are out there, and you guys have all brought this to my attention, that a YouTuber is claiming that there's not going to be any change with the Iraqi dinar. That's fine, I get it, but understand that a lot of these YouTubers make some outrageous claims. You know this. What have we heard? Oh yeah, JFK Jr. was going to be revealing himself on October the 17th. Did it happen? No. Was there excuses by these people? Yes. What do we hear also? Oh yeah, that some people are claiming that one, nope, 2 profiles now on Twitter are actually JFK Jr. You know what I mean? These are the same people making these claims about the dinar. These are people who've made the claims that they have personally been contacted or communicated with Q from QAnon. Yeah, okay. So, when these same people say what they say about the Iraqi dinar, think about what they said in the past. Do they have any real credibility? It's not, I don't want to say anybody's names, but because I don't want to sound like I'm blasting people, but I'm trying to tell you guys, just sit back sometimes and be rational about this. Am I aware what this person said? Well, you guys brought it to my attention. I went and I heard it. This person's only expressing their opinion, people. This isn't set in any kind of, evidence, or there's nothing that proves it. There's nothing wrong with individuals expressing their opinion. Their own opinion is way out in left field as far as NESARA GESARA. Again, this is not no blast on NESARA GESARA. I've made plenty of videos proving that a big portion of it has been not only done, but is in process. So not only is it possible, but it's actually happening. Some of those other people went out on a limb saying you guys are going to get donated a ton of money. It's going to go in your account. We're all going to be rich. It's going to be kumbaya. But now all of a sudden they're changing their stories. We were also told that you can't get your money unless you go out and do humanitarian projects. And then that story's been changed. Do you see what I'm saying? If a person keeps flip-flopping on what they're saying, you have to sit back and take something that they say with a grain of salt, okay? Nobody knows what's going on with the Iraqi dinar or the Vietnam dong, except for those people who are supposed to know what's going on. There's no doubt whatsoever that the Iraqi dinar exchange rate is too low. We know this. This has been a discussion for more than 1.5 decades. So just hang tight. We've seen a lot, especially over the last month, a lot of talk about the exchange rate, both positive and negative. And I'm sorry that, look, I'm the one that encourage you guys is to go out there and listen to other YouTubers. You should. And the reason for that is you got to listen to all the different opinions on stuff. And from that, what you do is you kind of listen to the information and you filter through what you feel is BS and what is the truth. So when people start saying that, hey, God told them on this date, then God told them on another date, or that they use gematria numbers, you know what I mean? Or, a psychic totem, or they're shaking the magic 8 ball. I don't know, you guys. I can't control what they say or do. But what I don't want you guys to do is get overly emotional about anything they say. They don't have no insider information. There's no damn magic codes that you punch into your thing. You know what I mean? There's no military intel out there, because if they had legitimate intel, they've been talking now for 10, 12 damn years. Their intel is the god awfulest, worst effing intel I have ever heard of. Well, the back screens and the codes and the, come on now. All right. So we go over this all the time. We know that people are going to express different opinions. That's okay. Just don't get all rattled about it. All right, you guys. So yeah, I'm already aware that somebody had came out and said, now all of a sudden when they said there were some redemption centers and there was these 800 numbers, and then I blew that crap out of the water, and now all of a sudden they've backtracked. All right, now they're saying there's no 800 numbers and there's no redemption centers. Okay, so yes, I know, I'm aware of it. What I don't want you to do is just feel down about what's going on. Take all the information, that includes me, the information that we talk about, take it with a pinch of salt, in case he's listening. Take it with a pinch of salt, all right? Just listen and pay attention to what's going on. Anybody, and I mean anybody, I don't care who you're listening to out there, everything is speculation. Those individuals claiming to have insider information are lying to you, all right? Any real information about a date or rate would not be shared with other people. This would be really illegal. It's okay if people want to share their opinions based on what they're told by their so-called insiders, as long as it does not involve or a date or a rate. Okay, you guys? So no tier 1, there's no tier 3, there's no redemption centers, there's no 800 numbers. When it happens, you won't even know it happens until it spreads like wildfire. There's not going to be any of these fireworks, celebrations, holidays announcing the rate change. They just do it. One day you wake up, somebody's going to notice it. They're going to be like, what the hell? Is this real? They're going to start letting other people know. Everybody's going to start digging into it. Once we find out that it's happened, everybody's going to know within a matter of hours. That's how it's going to happen. All right, you guys? So hang tight. Look, again, listen to other people, but just even me, when we're sharing information, understand it's all due to speculation. That's the best anybody can do. All right, you guys? So don't get overly excited when the news is good and overly down when the news is bad. We don't care about what they say, while we do a little. But what we want to focus on more is, or what they say. We want to focus more on what they do is what I meant to say. All right, you guys? All right, so that's it for now. And please, again, if you're not a subscriber, please do so, because I surely do appreciate it. And I'll catch you guys later.